Should conservation be banned? For decades, the world's conservationists have set out to protect wild places and wild species, and in many cases, they've been, well, highly successful. So why would we want to ban it? The very question seems ridiculous, dangerous even.
But what if I'm not talking about conservation itself, just the word?
I'm hoping to show you how the words that we use to describe the plight of nature doesn't only explain the problems, it shapes how we imagine the solutions and the actions that we might take in the future.
So what is wrong with the word conservation? Why am I going on about banning it? Well, before we get on to conservation, I want to talk about a different word. Well, this time it's a different phrase: biodiversity loss.
Biodiversity loss. It sounds almost gentle, but nothing here is being lost. We know exactly what is happening to it. Now, you might be thinking, this is ridiculous. This is just a harmless nuance of language. But what if I change the subject? What if I change the story to my friend lost my glasses? It seems innocent and inconvenient, slightly annoying, but ultimately solvable. And how about if the story is my friend destroyed my glasses? Use a different word and we picture a completely different story and a completely different solution. So what does the word conservation actually mean, and how does it relate to biodiversity?
Conservation. To conserve something means to protect it, to preserve it, and to keep it safe.
Well, it sounds good, and for decades it's made complete sense. We've saved species, we've protected landscapes, and conservation has put biodiversity on the global agenda. But here's the trouble: almost everywhere we look, nature is no longer intact. Biodiversity is not functioning in a way that supports our way of life or the diversity of life on our planet. And what we need is ideas and stories that help us rebuild, restore, and build back nature and biodiversity to its former glory, not stories that tell us to just keep it the way it is. Conservation, it just isn't enough. The trouble is, words like those shape public stories, and that means that they shape the public's imagination. If the story is passive, well then our response is also going to be passive. But what if we told a different story? What if we told a story using words like restoration, regeneration, recovery? These words tell a very different story, one where nature can come back, can recover, and where we can be a part of that restoration. It tells a very different, more optimistic story. Around the world, rivers are recovering, wetlands are being revived, species are returning. There is good news. Not everywhere and not fast enough, but enough to remind us that ecological damage does not need to be permanent. Maybe this isn't actually about banning a word. Maybe it's also about recognizing the fact that every environmental movement is also a storytelling movement. And the stories we choose, the way we tell them, and the words we use shape what people believe is possible. For a long time, the story of biodiversity has been about decline, but maybe the next chapter is about recovery, renewal, and possibility. So, should we ban the word conservation? Maybe we're asking the wrong question, because this was never really about just one word. It's about the story that we're telling about nature, what we see for the future, and whether that story is big enough for whatever comes next.